Lesson 1.4, Video 2. The graph of a linear equation has at most one x-intercept and one y-intercept. Unless, of course, you're talking about a horizontal line that is y equals 0. That horizontal line happens to be the x-axis itself. So every point on that horizontal line is touching the x-axis, so every point is considered an x-intercept, and that's a unique scenario. How do you find the x or y-intercepts? The process is quite simple. You have to make sure you understand algebra, of course, and how to solve for variables, but it's quite nice and neat. To find the x-intercept, again x-intercept, you plug a 0 in for y and solve for x. To find the y-intercept, you plug a 0 in for x and solve for y. And again, the last thing I'm going to be asking you to do is rewriting standard form linear equations in slope-intercept form. So in other words, as I mentioned earlier, the difference between standard form and slope-intercept form is that the equation is solved for y in slope-intercept. So let's take a look at a couple examples. First, we have to find the x and y-intercept, and then we have to rewrite it in slope-intercept form. Alright, so how do we find the x-intercept? The x-intercept is found by making y equal to 0. So we take that equation and we write x plus 3, and we plug a 0 in for y, equals 6, and notice that the 3 times 0 is gone, and you end up with x equals 6. That is the x-intercept. The y-intercept is when you plug x, or plug 0 in for x instead of y. That would give you in that equation 0 plus 3y equals 6. Again, the 0 means nothing, so we just have 3y equals 6. We solve that for y by dividing both sides by 3, and y equals 2. And that is the y-intercept. Our last part here is to rewrite in slope-intercept form. And again, the difference is that slope-intercept form is solved for y. So I will solve this equation for y. And I'm going to put my x term first because slope-intercept form has the x term first. I'll divide both sides by 3. And I'll get y equals, I'm going to write this fraction, which is negative 1/3. That's my slope. And then this fraction, because both are being divided by 3, and we get plus 2. This is the slope-intercept form of that standard equation. The next one, we'll try that again. So x-intercept is when y is equal to 0. So we plug that in, and we get 2x minus 3 times 0 equals 15. We solve that. We cancel out the negative 3 times 0 because that's 0. We get 2x equals 15. We will divide by 2, and x equals 7.5. The y-intercept is when we plug 0 in for x, in which case we would get 2 times 0 minus 3y equals 15. Again, that's gone, so we end up with 3y equals 15. We divide both sides by negative 3, and our y-intercept is negative 5. And again, writing it in slope-intercept form, we would take the original standard form equation, and we would solve for y. So I would subtract 2x, and we get negative 3y equals, I'm going to put my x term first. We would divide both sides by negative 3. Our final answer would be y equals this fraction, which is negative divided by negative, is a positive 2/3 x, and this fraction, which is a negative 5. And that is our slope-intercept form of that standard equation. And this ends Lesson 1.4, Video 2.